Hi students, this is Sadhna Deshpande from Saraswat International Academy. Remember, we were dealing with the second chapter of your 12th standard syllabus. In first part, we have studied Sahib's story. In the second part, we have started with the story of Mukesh, who belongs to a bangle maker family. Till now, we have learnt about his home, his family, and his economical condition. Now, today, we will move ahead with Mukesh's story and we will try to understand the lesson. Now, let us start with reading of the lesson. We have stopped till the art of making bangles in the second part. Now let us start reading. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Students, already I have told you the economical condition of Mukesh's family, and they were all staying along with each other. They were all staying in a joint family, and there Mukesh's grandmother was also staying. So, Mukesh's grandmother is saying that it is his karam, his destiny. Now, especially in India, we belong in the destiny. We believe in the destiny, and we know that whatever karma we will do, we will just have to gain its advantages or disadvantages. So that's why our karma decides our destiny, and that's what the grandmother is saying, that it is his karam, his destiny, because she has watched her own husband going blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Can a God given lineage ever be broken? No. Lineage is the ancestry, parentage. So then the grandmother is saying that nobody can break the God given lineage of the family. She implies, born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Now, if you remember, I had told you about Firozabad. Their main profession is making bangles. So it is obvious that in every house, every yard, in every street of Firozabad, they must have seen only the bangles. Spirals of bangles, sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow, lie in mounds in unkempt yards, are piled on 4-wheeled hand carts pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. Now, here the common scenario in the city of Firozabad is mentioned. The markets were full of different colored bangles, sunny gold colored, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color which is born out of 7 colors of rainbow. So we know all the colors of rainbow, and those were the colors of the bangles which were there, lie in mounds. Now, mounds is a collection, a small hill. Okay, so the bangles were lying there in the market, in the mounds, in unkempt yards. Now, the meaning of unkempt is untidy. So, the bangles were kept untidily in untidy yards, are piled on 4-wheeled hand carts. Hand carts, what we call in our vernacular language, lari. So, this is common scenario in the city of Firozabad. You might have seen the bangle makers carrying the bangles on their hand carts, pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. Now, again, shanty is full of huts. In the dark hutments, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. Now, this is the condition in the city of Firozabad of the boys and girls, especially young boys and girls, because they are all involved in their traditional business. What is the business? Bangle maker. So all of the family, the whole family is involved in the same profession. They were welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles day and night. So that's why their eyes were more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults, because they get involved in the profession at an early age, and that's why their eyesight becomes weaker day after day, years after years. So before they become adults, they used to lose their eyesight. Savita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. Now, again, this is the scene over there. The name of the young girl who was sitting over there along with an elderly woman, the name is Savita. She was sitting in a drab pink dress. Now, the meaning of drab is dull. She was wearing dull pink dress and she was sitting alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. Now, soldering means bonding pieces of glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Now, here we will understand how mechanically she is doing the work, because she has got a lot of practice of that. So, her hands were moving like the tongs of a machine. You must have seen how a machine works, how the hands of machine works. So, in the same way, the girl's hands were moving. I wonder if she knows the sanctity. The word sanctity means purity, pavitrata, holiness. Whether she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Now you know that in Indian tradition, again, bangles, they carry some pure meaning. They are just holy things for the ladies, especially the married women. And that's why she might not be understanding the sanctity, the holiness of the bangles which she is preparing. We are talking about the girl named as Savita. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. Now you know that I have also told you just now that the bangles are very important for Indian women, as they are the symbol of their suhag, as they are married. So it carries some auspiciousness. Auspiciousness again is holiness, pavitrata in marriage. It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil, her hands dyed red with henna, and red bangles rolled onto her wrists. Here we are talking about Savita, who was helping the mother or elderly woman for making the bangles. So suddenly it will dawn on her. She will become aware. It will dawn on her means she will become aware. She will get the knowledge of the thing. Suddenly one day, the sanctity of the bangles will arrive to Savita when herself she will become a bride, a married woman. She will then become a bride like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. We know that Savita was helping an elderly woman in making the bangles. So, the lady also, the elderly woman also must have become bride some or another day, and that's what the author wants to tell us, that Savita will also understand like the old woman. She still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. The elderly woman, she was still wearing the bangles, but there was no light in her eyes. एक वक्त शेर भर खाना भी नहीं खाया. She is telling that she had not eaten even the full meal at one time also. She says in a voice drained of joy. Now, the meaning of drained of joy. This is a phrase. The meaning is without happiness. The lady, she said without happiness that एक वक्त भी पूरा खाना नहीं खाया, पेट भर के खाना नहीं खाया. This explains us the economical condition of them. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. Now see, entire lifetime she had not eaten one time also full meal. That's what she has reaped. Now here the meaning of reaped is gathered. This is what she wants to tell, that whole lifetime she had not eaten one full meal also. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. See, the old man was disappointed because he thinks that he had not done anything except making bangles, and he had just given one house for the family to live in. Now remember, the house, it comes under the basic needs of people: food, clothing, shelter. So he doesn't realize that what great thing he had done for the family. At least he had given them the shelter. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. Now, many of the people, many of the persons, they are not able to provide shelter to their family. Here, the old man had succeeded in doing that. He has a roof over his head. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. Now, this is the condition of every home of the Firozabad city. We were talking about that. The cry of not having money. So, this particular sentiment, this particular feeling prevails there in every home of Firozabad, that they have not done anything except for making bangles. They haven't eaten also enough. The young men echo the lament of their elders. Now, echo the lament. Lament is a cry. The young man also feels the same way as their elders. Little has moved with time, it seems, in Firozabad. So since many years, they have not done anything except for making bangles. It seems that time has stopped over there. Years of mind-numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. It seems that they have stopped dreaming also. Now, years of mind-numbing toil. The meaning of mind-numbing toil is an extreme hard life. So, they have killed all their dreams because they were too much in sorrow. They have led an extreme hard life, that is a torture, mental torture to them. Why not organize yourselves in a cooperative? I ask a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. Now, again, as the author, she didn't have clear-cut idea of their lives, that's why. So she just asks them that why they should not organize themselves into a cooperative. The young men who have fallen into vicious circle. So that was the vicious circle of middlemen, actually, those who were trapped, their forefathers and their fathers. You know how the middlemen, they just exploit the workers, and that's what was happening with them. Now they are giving the reply. Even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail for doing something illegal. Now we all know our social scenario, that even if the workers, they get organized, they are hauled up. Hauled up is just held up by police, caught up by police. They will be beaten, they will be dragged to jail for doing something illegal. Actually, they were not doing anything illegal, but that's where the exploitation of poor people comes. There is no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. Actually, they didn't have any leader amongst them, and that's why there was nobody to lead them also, and nobody could help them. Their fathers are as tired as they are. So everybody was tired by the toil, by the hard work of making the bangles. And that's why they couldn't do anything. They talk endlessly in a spiral that moves from poverty to apathy, to greed, and to injustice. Now, here, the meaning of apathy is an absence of emotion. They just talk endlessly because they can't do anything. So it's a spiral, it's a circle which moves from poverty. They were poor, and then again there was an absence of emotion from everybody, and then again they were the people, those who were exploiting them, they were greedy, and ultimately injustice occurs to them. This is the political scenario, this is the social scenario. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. One of the family caught in a web of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. The other, a vicious circle of the sahukas, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. Now see, when the author was listening to them, she could see that actually in our same world there exist two different worlds, totally distinct. One world is of the family, which are caught in the web of poverty. They are all burdened by the stigma of caste. Now, the meaning of stigma. The meaning of stigma is a symbol of disgrace. In our vernacular language, we know the meaning is kalank. So still, because casteism exists in our society, That's why there was stigma of the caste in which they are born and which they couldn't help out. And the other world was of the Sahukars. The Sahukars, those who used to exploit them. The middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. Now, this is a vicious circle. At one side, the people, those who used to take their disadvantage, and the another world is of bangle makers. There is a vast difference between these two worlds. So that's what the author wants to tell us here. Together, they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. Now, as we know that the author was going along with Mukesh, who had got many dreams in his eyes, but these two worlds, one world of bureaucrats or the politicians or the middlemen and policemen, and another world was of the bangle makers. So actually both of them, they have imposed is enforced. They have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. So Mukesh actually can never put down this baggage of these two worlds. Before he is aware, he accepts it as naturally as his father. So we know that bangle making comes in their lineage, and that's why his father had also accepted it, and he is also going to accept it. To do anything else would mean to dare, and daring is not part of his growing up. Now, even if Mukesh wishes to do something else, that means he would have to dare to do that. And daring is not part of his growing up. They were never taught to dare to do something else. And that's why it was not the part of his growing up also. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. But when Mukesh told author that he wants to become a motor mechanic, that's what he had announced to the author. So when the author saw a flash of it, it is here daring. Flash of daring in Mukesh, I am cheered. She was cheered. She became happy that somebody dares to dream. I want to be a motor mechanic, he repeats. Mukesh again repeats that he wants to become motor mechanic. He will go to a garage and learn, but the garage is a long way from his home. Now, again, how he will learn that? So, he gives a simple solution. He says that he will go to the garage and learn car driving over there. But garage is a long way from his home. Simple thing he says, what he will do for that? I will walk, he insists. Now remember one thing. If he dreams for doing something, he is going to put his full efforts. That's what we can learn from Mukesh. That if we dream for something bigger, we will have to put our full efforts in that. And that's what he is going to do. So, students, if you dream for something bigger, you will have to work hard. You will have to be ready to put your 100% efforts in that. That's what Mukesh is also going to do. Do you also dream of flying a plane? Now, this is the question asked by the author. Now, she is asking that suppose if you dream of flying a plane, then what will happen? What you will do? That's why she is asking, do you also dream of flying a plane? He is suddenly silent. See, now the thing which is accessible reachable to him, he is going to do that only, because flying a plane doesn't come in his inner circle. That's why he suddenly becomes silent when the author asks that whether he dream of flying a plane also. No, he says, staring at the ground, because he knows that he cannot do that anytime. That's why he says no. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. Now, what does it mean? Embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. He was embarrassed, he was bewildered, he was confused, but still he doesn't have any regret that he won't be able to fly a plane, because he's clear, he's contented in his own dream. What was his dream? His dream was to drive the car, and that's what he is satisfied with. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurtling down the streets of his town. Now, here the meaning of hurtling. Hurtling means moving with a rushing sound. So, there naturally he has seen many cars moving from that street, and that's why he just thought of being a mechanic, driving a car. Flying plane doesn't come in his inner circle of thought. That's why he just dreams of the cars. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Now, the author is making it clear over there that as few planes they fly over Firozabad, that's why the child cannot think of it having his dream. So now here we end with our explanation of the lesson. We have seen how the author has analyzed the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn smaller children to a life of exploitation. Now, students, have you understood the lesson? Now, what you need to do after my work, you just read the lesson again and just try to understand it. And then you just listen to this video. Now, let me tell you one thing. I have told you the meanings of difficult words and phrases also while I was explaining the lesson. But even if you have missed it, don't worry, I am going to give the meanings to you afterwards. So now, I hope you will do your homework of reading the lesson.